Welcome back to another powerful episode of the Moe Rock Show right here on the LA Tribune Television Network. And I'm real excited, Michael, my co-host slash co-producer for this week's program, because we're talking about a subject matter that I think is very important. Nobody has ever accomplished anything in life or in business without staying focused and without avoiding shiny object syndrome. And in today's market, shiny object syndrome is something that has really hit entrepreneurs very hard. So many different opportunities, so many different people wanting to pull you in different directions. And so I want to first of all ask you, Michael, how do you stay focused as a business leader before we bring in the incredible panel that you're going to help facilitate? Michael Silvers, please.
Yeah, hey everybody, welcome to the show. By the way, Mo, it's always great to be on. It's always creating something else, right? It's always creating. We used to always say in masterminds, creating something out of nothing. And if you haven't read Think and Grow Rich or Outwitting the Devil, you need to read that. It's really being for part of that is focus on where you're going. So if you know the end result, or hey Lauren, how you doing? If you know where you want to go, then you stop losing track. It just puts you more on purpose. It's like, when they shot off to the moon, right? There was many different directions they can go, and there's minor adjustments the whole day, but they knew where they were going, and it got them to where they needed to go. For those of you that don't think they got to the moon, we'll deal with that another day. So, but it's that piece is the most critical piece, is know where you're going and tell other people about it, and work with business people that really can get you in that direction.
Fantastic. And we're going to have such a great group of individuals this week. I mean, I'm really honored to share the stage with some of these folks. We have Jessica Carter, Dr. Catrice, of course, Rich, Karen, Jake, Craig Bruce, and Sandy. And I don't even know where to begin, because the folks that you see on this program right now, this is truly like All-Star Weekend in the NBA, where they bring, the top basketball players and they say, showcase the top talent in the NBA. When it comes to the field of leadership and entrepreneurship, this is like an all-star team. And I'm going to step back, Michael, because you're such a great facilitator, and you facilitated so many panels in your career for the last several decades. So I'm going to step back for a couple minutes and give it back to you, Michael, so we can kick off this week's conversation on how do you stay focused. Michael Silvers, back to you.
Yeah, that's great. The last couple of decades, he keeps aging me as we do this. You know what I'm saying? It's so great to be on again. So, and what a great panel, and it's, it's even better. A whole bunch of you I just hung out with in LA. So that was awesome, right? We had too much fun together, but remember what happened in LA stays in LA. So it's great to have all of you on tonight. And let's take that question. Let's really take a look at, because this happens in business all the time. So we'll start there. That piece of, how do I really, there's so many shiny things out there. There's so many directions to go. So we'll start with that question, and then we'll go from there of, how do you stay focused? How do you truly stay on path and target? And then we're going to move it into a second question, which I'll ask after, which really be, when you're on that path, how as a leader do you stay of service? So if I forget that, somebody remind me. That would be great. All right, I'm going to go around the board. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I just pick and choose. It's like the Hollywood Squares time. Let's go with Sandy.
Hello. Michael, I go through this all the time, because one of my superpowers is the fact that I can get so many things done at once. But I learned last January that I had too many balls in the air, and what I needed to do was just to focus. And so I decided I have to focus on my podcast, and I had a corporate job at the time, so I had to focus on that. And what I learned is, by focusing on one thing, I accomplish greater results in the end. So that's what helps keep me focused, is I have to keep my eye on the needle, keep my focus, because I know if I do that, I'm going to get the results that I'm after. Otherwise, you can't really do if you're juggling too many things, you can't accomplish anything 100%. I don't believe so anyway.
Yeah, no, agree. And, that's a really big, statement in a way, but it does keep us, there's that focus piece, right? It's the focus and how we move forward and how we stay in that. And that is always a way to keep rolling. So Sandy, always great to see you. Karen.
Yeah, so I'm similar to Sandy. I can deal with a lot of things going on at the same time, but one of the things that I recognized was that each day is a new day, and many times there are people that have needs that day that I'm not aware of the day before, so I can't set a goal to say I'm going to focus on that thing over there that just might come up. And so I start my days, being intentional and just, asking for divine help to know who I can serve that day. And then I put my highest priorities in the morning when I have the most energy. And then when I have the lowest energy, I do more low energy tasks. And that really helps me out. And then I find a way for the service, because without the service, I feel I feel a void in my life. And so I need to have that for my own self, and it's fulfilling to me. And when I feel connected, then I feel strength and I feel power to be able to accomplish those very important priorities as well.
Yeah, they are. It's great, Karen, because it's about keeping our priorities too and keeping everything sort of straight. And what does that really look like is an important piece. The other thing too that I did is I got so excited to be on the call, right? And we have all these people that I just spent time with or know or talk to almost every other day. I know you all really well. So when we bring you up, and I'm going to bring Sandy up again for a second, just give them 10 seconds about yourself. Sandy.
Okay, 10 seconds about me. Sandy Scarlatta. I'm the host of the Happiness Solve podcast and television show, and I'm also the managing director of the LA Tribune Podcast Network.
All right, give it up for Sandy. Yeah, Karen.
I'm Karen Hall, and I'm the managing director of the Los Angeles Tribune Women's Journal, and I'm also the host of the Hero Within podcast.
Awesome. Fantastic. All right. Next up, all the way from Southern California where the sun always shines. He's in the warmest place, but I won't say where, because then thousands of you are going to go visit his home. Let's give it up for Craig Bruce.
Hey, Michael. Hey, I love having visitors. Hey, it's great to see everybody. It feels like we were just together because we were. My name's Craig Bruce, founder and managing principal of Evolve Health and Lifestyle. And we take high performing business leaders and executives, just like all of us, from doing to being. And I will tell you, and Michael, you know me pretty well. You know my linear brain kicks in, so I'm not real good at juggling multiple tasks. And here's how I stay focused. It's really two ways. One, I've gotten very clear on my why. Why do I get up every morning? And that guides me. In addition to that, what guides me is I've gotten very clear on what are my key values, what are my core values. And I use my why and those core values as filters for every decision that I make. So that helps keep me focused, although sometimes I backslide.
I know, and don't we all? And that's the thing. It's so you actually brought up a point within a point. First of all, we're all human beings. So that happens. Secondly, that's why also we enlist the mentors, the coaches, the people around us. I used to always say to create success, three mentors, three coaches, two mentors. Boy, I can't even get out to and then a mastermind. And it's really about having that around us and that power around us that will make all the difference. Craig, you're amazing. Let's give it over to Rich.
Hey, I'm also in Southern California, and Craig, if everybody comes to your house, send them over to my house. I'm an organic chef, and nobody leaves hungry, so I'm on the side of the hill. Hey, I've been defining and languaging brands for 47 years, and I'm the CEO and founder of Rich Brands, an impact-driven publishing company. And today, I work only with individuals who are determined to take their lives to a higher level of impact. So it's all about impact, and clarity is the missing piece. Clarity of the impacts you clearly see happening when you thrive, and that can lead to defining and languaging the brand you must become, and that aligns everything you say and do, and that prevents shiny object syndrome. You go into first things first marketing syndrome. So instead of jumping at things, you pick the first things that you have to have, first in the process. So I ran a high-tech ad agency for 20 years. And believe me, I am a man, so I am not capable of, I learned early, I'm not capable of doing multiple things at one time. I'm only capable of doing one thing at a time, but that's okay. But we can do lots of things when you run a team. You can do all the marketing communications for a big company. and you got to keep it organized. There's never any time, if you're an individual, there's never any time, never enough money, never enough time to do all the things that you could do. That's the problem of the shiny object syndrome. You waste money and waste time. And so bringing clarity into the focus of what you're creating. We talked today about turning your life of impacts, because we work with people who want higher level impacts, bigger impacts, more joy, less duty, more divine purpose, and literally turning that life of impacts into a story of legacy. We help people write books. We help people take that to the next level. And it's a labor of love. I believe it's God's work, not my work. I used to think it was my gift. Anyway, so that's who I am and what I do and why I do it. And most people don't know who I am because I've been hiding in the shadows, but not for much longer. And thank you for having me on. And I will tell you that it's about clarity. It's about clarity. And there are two types that are missing, but we'll get to that later. Well, how do you stay on track? I'll be very explicit, and it'll blow your mind. It'll drop your jaw how easy it is. People don't know that it's a process.
Awesome. Thank you. Rich, welcome to the panel. It's great to have you on today. Panelists, you guys are doing great too. Let me tell you something, because we train on the panels, right, every week as we have our weekly calls. And the biggest thing is, and none of you have done this, which is really always awesome, is have you ever had a panelist on? And Rich, you're just like in the centerpiece right now. Isn't that funny how that is? But have you ever had a, yeah, isn't that, there you go.
I've been a lot of places, but I'm here now.
Have you ever had a panelist on where you ask a simple question and you're 12 to 14 minutes later and they're still going, and you're watching the audience drop, right? So you guys are awesome because it's about impact. I love it. The name of it's about how do I create impact in 1 to 2 minutes? How do I make sure the audience has what they need? And the great thing about panels is they might not remember the individuals, but they'll remember the greatness of the panel. And then they'll start searching the individuals. And that's the great thing that these panels and why they're so critical. So, and of course, what happens is we move the board around all the time. I have no idea who went first, left, second, right, who I didn't even call. So if I happen to bring somebody up ever and you've already gone, just say, oh, I'm so thankful. You love me so much, but I did go already. So, all right, Dr. Catrice.
Hello, everybody. Dr. Catrice Austin, host of the Let's Talk Smiles podcast, owner of BIP Smiles in New York City and Michigan. And I am so happy to be here to share how I, for a living, get to help people have a beautiful, healthy, and confident smile, no matter who you are. Now, I am known for working with celebrities, but it's working with the everyday hardworking person that just wants to smile again is my target audience. And how do I stay focused? Number one, this cell phone that I spend lots of money on each year, keeping it updated. I really use the calendar. I set reminders, and I have all of my tasks and everything is organized right here in my phone because it's always in my hand. So I am setting reminders on a regular basis to make sure I stay focused. Number two, I have accountability partners. Every Wednesday, I speak with a fellow colleague and we have our goals and we go over our goals on a weekly basis. And I am scared to death to not meet my goals and stay accountable for the things that I said the week before. And then finally, you just said it, Michael, I belong to a few masterminds, and masterminding is so helpful to have a group of people who are like-minded that can keep me on track. And I have accountability there as well. So that's pretty much how I stay focused on a daily and weekly basis.
Awesome. Fantastic. It's great to have you on, and it was great to just see you. So when we did so much great work, right? There is that thing of the meeting of the minds, the being in one place together, and virtuals are phenomenal. This is where we want to be. And it's also once a year or twice a year great to get together and really create that. So it was wonderful to see all of you in Los Angeles as we move this forward. And you know, you're moving that thought pattern forward because you're doing it as an individual, but you're doing it as a group, and socialization is what we're made. Introverts even out there like me, we're still made for that socialization piece, and it helps every single time. Jake.
Hey guys, good to see everybody again. And I feel like I should just do like a review of what everybody's talking about, because we've got focus on your why, do your core values, one thing, use your calendar, accountability, all such great stuff from everybody. So I'll go a slightly different way as far as one of the things that keeps me focused, less tips and tricks. This would be, I have a gratitude journal. So every morning, first thing I do, I write what I'm grateful for. And typically It's simple stuff, right? Because that's the most impactful things for me, is to write the simple things. I'm grateful for a great cup of coffee. I'm grateful for a warm house. I'm grateful for, Catrice and Karen's smiles, different things. But I also have that gratitude journal and the affirmations around what's going on in my business. So it's a constant reminder every single morning. It's a habit to review them, that I'm just required to do it. And it puts me in the right mindset. Something that I do in my coaching company. And by the way, my name's Jake. I operate CT Impact. I'm the founder. I also have a podcast called Embracing the Suck, which means doing the hard things you have to do. Check it out on YouTube. But it's one of the things that we do with that gratitude list is it's impossible to be in a bad mood and truly grateful at the same time. You can't do it. Science won't let you do it. You can't be grumpy and grateful at the same time. So it's a great way to start your day and just really be in gratitude, really be thankful for where you're going, so that you know where you're going. You don't have to question it moving forward.
That's right. And it's so we used to always say it's what's called a heightened state. And in a heightened state, you actually are in a learning position. It's how we learn, it's how we grow. It's interesting because if you watch a lot of broadcasts now, they start with comedy. And because they start with comedy, what that does is it heightens the state before the learning position. Or at the same time, it's just the funniest part of the whole thing. And that's the only thing you remember anyways, but you want to stay there because you think maybe they'll crack another great joke. You also have, when you do that, and this is just a quick training for everybody, as you do, let's say if you're a speaker or trainer, and you actually, what's called, you open loop, close loop. At the beginning, you tell a story and you really enroll them in. Then you do your whole training. Then you close the story out. Now the story should be the meaning of the training. It should, but it's not a closure. It just moves forward. And you can start with a joke. You can open it up. You can talk about your life. And that just puts people in that heightened state. So whether you're a trainer, a podcaster, whatever you do, it's a great way to open up. And we'll do a whole talk on that one day. And from a business perspective, a sales perspective, it is a perfect way to really launch that part into what you do. One of my business partners was Tony Robbins' vice president for 18 years. So I just learn all the day. So that's why you have mentors, but it is how you open up. Another one of my business partners was the vice president for 18 years for SiriusXM. So that's the whole table read and podcasting and network and all of that. And those are the kind of people that I bring into my life as mentors. And you should all be doing the same thing. Jessa. You're either on mute or not connected. We know you're there. Now you're on mute again. This is good. Now you're off mute. Now let's try it again.
Helps to be off mute.
You're on. You're on.
All right. Hi there. I'm Jessa Carter. I am the Peaceful Billionaire. I am the visionary founder and CEO of the Peaceful Billionaire Institute for Wealth Creation. And I work with purpose-driven entrepreneurs to overcome all of the fears, the self-doubt, the imposter syndrome that entrepreneurs experience, so that you can bring maximum peace, passion, and profits into your business, into your life, and really have that impact that you're looking to make in the world. So I love this. I love this question because I was so guilty of it early on in my journey. And what I learned was that every time I said yes to something that was outside of my business and my mission and my purpose, that I was saying certain things, I was saying no to my mission and my purpose. So you have to be very strategic and make sure that your yeses are sacred, HE yes, aligned yeses, and that if it's a no, like it's a sacred HELL no, like it, so it's either a yes or a no. And taking a moment to just pause and really ask yourself, is this aligned? Because as an entrepreneur, especially when you have this mission, this purpose, this something in your life that you're working on that is so much larger than yourself, right? That's really where the imposter syndrome that kicks in, the insecurities, the self-doubt. And it's not that you're an imposter in any way. It's just that you have been given this mission, this purpose, this calling, this something that is so much larger than you, that you've been asked to rise, that you've been asked to step up and grow into. So you have to be really, really strategic with your time. That is the most people think investing your money is the most invaluable, your most valuable asset, your most valuable thing that you invest in, but it's really your time, right? So where are you investing your time, and making sure that those yeses are strategic aligned yeses, and that the no's are no's. That really made a big difference for me when I got really clear on that, because you have to take a lot of action as an entrepreneur in order to achieve the results that you're looking for. And a lot of those actions are uncomfortable. So I combine those string of words, and you take uncomfortable aligned action. So those yeses are that HE double yes, aligned yes, that are moving the needle forward for your mission, your purpose, and the impact you're looking to have in the world. And that the no's stay in HE double L no.
That's it. You know, the great thing about that, and what everybody's doing too, is one of the first things that I ever learned, and one thing that was really important, and I think it is for all of us as we do this, is, oh, look at that. There we go. We're playing with the, there we go. The one thing that's really important is when something comes your way, okay, that there's that piece that is, you look at it from what's called an ecological standpoint. And by the way, everybody, if you're listening to this broadcast and you've got one tidbit of information, the chime's ringing, I feel I'm ready for meditation. But if there's one thing that you heard so far, share this on Facebook, on YouTube, and everywhere you can. I'm also letting everybody do that right now, because you want people to get this information. You want people to know how to be a better leader, how to take their business forward, to hear from great business leaders, to really drive that forward. You're getting mentoring right now. And you're getting mentoring on a broadcast that's going around the world. So the great thing about that is share this with other people, because don't leave them out of the loop just because they didn't hear about it. Make sure that they know, make sure that you share it. The other thing too is a great audience. You can make comments. I actually read all of the comments. And I think as you read the comments, what that does is that triggers some of the next questions. So you're actually part of the show. Do we have preset questions? Yeah, 1, 2. But the rest of it is where we're going to go next, if we're going to go next, and how that looks. So truly, truly, truly put those comments in there. Keep it rolling as we keep moving forward. Panel, you are so amazing so far. It's just been great. And as we look at leadership, the one thing about being leaders is to be of service, because a great leader will always be ahead of their team. And ahead doesn't mean a mentor could be ahead financially, could be your lifestyle. You could be the best chef. You know what I'm saying there, Rich? But it really depends on, where you are from the mentor standpoint. As a leader, you're always also looking to, first of all, you're serving your clients. You're serving your staff, your team, but also you're of service to the world. So I'm going to put, this is a very open, generic question, and make sure, keep it to that 1 to 2 minute frame, because it was great. As a great guest, we always do that. But how are you today as a leader serving the world? I've had a lot of calls. How are you serving the world today? I'm going to start with that huge smile, Dr. Catrice.
Woohoo! I am giving back to upcoming dental students. I just recently spoke in San Francisco to the dental students there, 2nd and 3rd year students. I'm speaking at my alma mater, University of Maryland in Baltimore, next Tuesday. So one of the ways that I give back is to help others' path and journey be a little bit easier when they can hear from me, learn from my mistakes and successes. I am really trying to make sure that dentistry on the whole is a right and not a luxury. And so I am constantly giving back to the social media world and people that I encounter, showing them how they can get access to affordable care where they can get low cost and free dentistry, taking them through challenges. And for the people who contact me personally and want to be a part of my dental community, I let them know that they don't have to count themselves out, that there's always a way to get to a yes when it comes to having a beautiful, healthy smile. And just because I do work with notable people in the music and entertainment industry, I am the people's dentist, and I want to make sure that everybody has great information and I give back in that way.
Oh, I love it. That is fantastic. And you really are helping the world and changing, because you're doing it step by step, but you're doing it in a small way. You're doing it in a large way, and you're always of service, it's just awesome to see you on. All right, Rich.
Boy, thanks for asking. So right now I give back in a number of ways. I've been doing this 47 years, so people don't expect to get free access to somebody with my experience, but I keep my calendar open, and I allow anyone. You go on their website, it says, talk to Rich for 30 minutes. Anyone can hop on and talk to me about their struggle, their challenges moving forward. I also run a podcast called the Impact Brand Doctor Podcast, where we positively lift up personal and business brands with straight talk you can trust and deep experience you can count on. I mentor entrepreneurial teenagers. When I worked with Lisa Nichols for years, I created a program called Empowered Youth Foundation. And I cannot wait to get back to that and share those life lessons with kids who are 14 to 18. It shifts their life. It shifted mine, but I didn't get mine till 55. And I live in my I have to mention this. I ask every morning when I'm in prayer, put in front of me those people whose lives or businesses you want me to touch with this gift, and give me the eyes and ears and the wisdom to know who they are. I think we're all here for a reason, and it's not our reason. And so you've got to keep asking, what is the Creator's will for your life? Don't forget that piece. You can't forget that piece. And that itself is a give back when you are open to see God's hand and think, instead of, oh, what a coincidence, it's like there are no coincidences. Yeah. And you move on them. So thanks for asking, Michael.
You're welcome.
What a
Thank
powerful
you, Rich.
conversation. Well, thank you so much, Michael, my co-host for this week, for doing such a great job. And Rich, what a lovely point. And, I've said it before. I think every living organism has a purpose, right? Even a bee, one single bee has a very important purpose for the fabric of our lives. And so if we are not, as human beings, living our purpose, and if we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing, then it's actually disrespectful to our Creator. Whether you believe in intelligent design, whether you believe in God, whatever word you choose to use, I don't care. But if you're not living your purpose, it's not just selfish, it's disrespectful. And so with that being said, we want to take a quick 1-minute break, come back for the second half of the program. Michael Silvers, you've done such a fantastic job. I think we're going to invite you to be a co-host multiple times. I didn't know you were this talented, Michael. You've been holding back.
I've done it once or twice, but I'm going to keep working on it.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back for the second half of the program.
Welcome to the Los Angeles Tribune page. Here you will find original news programming, exclusive digital events, and shows that are directly from the community. At the Los Angeles Tribune, we believe in giving a voice to the voiceless. We are proud to be the only national brand to empower everyday people to make a difference. Since 1886, our reputation has been built on truth and responsibility. Thank you for watching and making a difference.
For general inquiries, contact today. Thank you on behalf of the Los Angeles Tribune team.
All right.
And we're going to kick off the second half. And Michael, you've been doing such a great job that I don't want to steal your thunder. So back to you, sir.
All right, fantastic. It's great. It's always great having you on, Mo, and such a great leader of everything we're doing and creating this entrepreneurial series for anybody around the world. What a give back and what a service piece. So this is great because I actually wrote the names of who went already, so I'm not going to forget this time, right? All right, let's give it up for Mr. Craig Bruce.
Hey, Michael, what a great question. You know, for years and years and years, I focused on my career and always said that, you know, I want to give back. I want to give back. So I'd give back financially to the church and those kinds of things. But in the last couple of years, since I've actually found my community, is I'm spending a lot of time with the Boys and Girls Club. And what I love about that organization is that, as cliche as it sounds, these kids are our future and they just need the opportunity. And so that's really, and so I'm working very closely with the Boys and Girls Club, both at the local level and at the regional level. And just, man, it's just every day it warms my heart, or the events.
Wow, that's, and by the way, thank you, Craig. Everybody who's just gotten on, by the way, these panelists of worldwide experts, some are podcasters, authors, trainers, speakers, branding, marketing. We have everything on here. We're talking about being of service. Yes, we even have a dentist on, but we're talking about being of service and really what that is to our lives and how that impacts as a leader. And it's just been great so far. Jessa.
Oh my goodness. Remind me the question.
Service.
Yeah, just how have you been in service as a leader?
Oh my goodness, being in service. So many things. I like to, every time I do an event, I select a charity that I partner with, and a percentage of sales always goes to charity. I've had it on my dream list to start hosting annual charity galas for a few years. So that's a big one that I really see becoming reality in 2025 for sure, on the plate for next year. But always giving back a percentage of everything that my business brings in. And we do something special within my membership where where people can opt to give a percentage of their membership fee that goes into a bank for people who maybe can't afford to be part of the membership, so that we can provide scholarships for people who aren't in a position to participate yet.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And that, you make it, because there are different people in different positions, right? And so you want them to have flow through of being of service, whether it's time or money. And I think that's great that you do that and you add that in. It's funny, once we took a group, we had a mastermind at Peak Potentials, and we took a group to Maui. And it was the big brothers and big sisters, and they needed us to build 30 bikes. So we took the whole group. We had, I think, 5 hours. It was in a huge warehouse, no air conditioning, doesn't matter. And we built 120 bikes, because it wasn't about us. It was about getting it done. And there was enough bikes that year that every single child who needed one on all the islands got a bike from Big Brothers and Big Sisters. So, but it was that we came together as a group and a team and said, we're going to do this the way it's never been done. We're going to make a difference the way it hasn't happened yet. And no matter how much we have to sweat, right? It was like 110, it was 150, but none of it mattered. And they got it done. And after they got it done, they were all so excited. They're like, when can we build more? Let's go. Let's do this. I'm bringing this back to my community. That's where it starts to spider out, because then they take it back to their home community. They take it back to the neighborhoods. They do it for those people, and it never stops. And that's the great piece. I think that's the important piece.
And I love the subject matter, Michael. And one of the things that I just want to share with our community watching around the world, just to piggyback off of this idea of giving back, regardless of the socioeconomical status of the folks that we want to give back to. And that's why here at the LA Tribune, we love the fact that many of our programs are available for free internationally. Usually and I want to take a second actually to plug and share, rather, not plug, but share something that we invented here at the Los Angeles Tribune. And, we all know about LA Fashion Week, and we believe it's beautiful to take a week to celebrate fashion and to celebrate the external beauty. There's nothing wrong with that. But we actually invented something called the LA Leadership Week, which we're debuting this year. And some of the folks that will be present include the likes of Brian Tracy and Robert Cialdini and Ty Lopez and Sharon Lecter and so many other speakers. Many of the folks here, in fact, on this program are going to be one of those speakers that you see. And so I just want to encourage folks to go to laleadershipweek.com. And we have had footage and pictures sent to us from villages in different countries, literally villages in different countries that are watching, in some cases watching a translation of our live programs in their native tongue. They could never in any other universe afford to have direct access to some of the speakers that we give them access to. And so join us on our collective mission to continue making the world a better place. I'm very excited about the LA Leadership Week. Many of the speakers we have not even yet announced. We're just sharing this with the world now. And today we announced that Brian Tracy has been added to our lineup. And of course, you see Michael Silvers, Bill Walsh as well on this flyer, some real incredible thought leaders that will be part of this. And so I just wanted to remind folks to watch, to register, and to share the message. Michael, back to you.
Yeah, fantastic. And the great thing about that is it is taking the message out to the world. It is. And when we got heavily involved a year ago and started, co-producing the shows, what I saw was these pictures from these villages of these teens and I'm like, wait a second, this is access for everyone. Because the one thing is, you have to realize their cell phones have made a change in this world, good, bad, right or left, whatever you think, but there's been more access that never has happened before. And with all the, whatever you think about the millions of satellites we have up above us right now, hopefully they don't just all fall to Earth at one time. There is this greater access piece that with the Tribune and everything we're doing, it's been phenomenal just to watch and to say, we're open for all. This message is for everyone, however you can use it. And I think that's the brilliance of everything created. We did some work way back when with Richard Branson and Oprah's school in Africa. And the tuition for the girls there was the most brilliant move. And that's what this is doing. The tuition for the girls in the school was they had to take back what they learned to their village. That was the tuition. And that brilliant model of this open environment, and it was entrepreneurial. I mean, entrepreneurism can be many different ways. We're talking about being of service right now. We're talking about how do you stay on focus? We haven't even talked about money, but it's all about everything. It's about being of service. It's about income. It's about lifestyle. It's about sometimes just getting the water from the well. And maybe there's a little better way to do it. Maybe we had somebody once talk at one of our events from an African village, and he said, really, the strategy is how not to get eaten. So, but that was an important strategy, and they figured out a way to do it as a team and a family to make it happen with the time of the day. And I went, this is brilliant. This is a life lesson of learning. And that's what we're doing here every single day. All right. So let me give this up to Karen.
Thank you. So, I love all these thoughts that everybody has shared. And, as I mentioned, service is the way that I start my day. And I've had some really fascinating, opportunities to serve. I was able to serve on the Native American reservation for the White Mountain Apaches in northeastern Arizona for many years. And I worked with the young women and the older women, and then I worked with families. And to see them learn to serve themselves every week when we would go and work with them, I would ask them, would you like to learn this skill or that skill or do service? And they always wanted to do service. They couldn't wait to do service. And we would go visit veterans. We would go visit the homeless shelters. We would go to the hospital and do service and make quilts and all kinds of things. They absolutely love doing service. And that engendered service within their families, just like you were saying about, the family had to work together. Well, they took those messages back to their families. And then I had the opportunity to work on the reservation and mentor health workers. And so I would teach the health workers health principles, and then they would go into the homes, and they were so much more effective than the doctor teaching them something. To come from one of their own, they received that message so well. And so then the health of the Native Americans also improved. And so there's so many different ways that we can serve. I also serve in a children's organization, and I serve with a group that helps young people learn to speak and to find their voice, which I wish I would have had that when I was a youth. But all of these opportunities just help to raise, the tide, just one boat, at a time, we all rise together. And I think it's so beautiful how service not only blesses the people that we're serving, but it blesses us as well.
Yes, it does. Yeah, it's great. And you've done so much to be of service and into those communities that need it so much. And there's a great lesson here too, that it's always funny. Now, if you have, it's easy to give money. It's not easy to give time. Most organizations cannot get people to serve. That's as big as their financial need. So it's great that you spent that time and you were there, and you've all done it, and that's been pretty amazing. As we continue doing this, just keep going. Sandy.
This is such a great topic, and I'm actually have been planning for well over a year now, but it's starting to come more into fruition. My third nonprofit in the last 30 years. And I started the Peak Performance Mindset Academy because as a mindset coach and a retired professional athlete, I work with right now I'm just only working with a handful of amateur athletes. And the thing is when you're working with youth, as Craig was saying, and Rich as well, for me, it's like sponges, and they love hearing this. And they're like, wow, how I am today doesn't, I can change and I can think differently tomorrow. And they're, and I'm like, yeah. And it's so amazing. But the problem with getting this type of coaching and information out to today's youth is that it's not offered in the school systems, and many of these children, they can't afford it. Their parents cannot afford to hire a life coach to learn these types of things. So I decided to make my Peak Performance Mindset Academy a nonprofit so that I can partner with other professional athletes and really focus on underprivileged areas, especially because my tagline for it is today's athletes are tomorrow's leaders. And I really believe that because they've got that determination and they just want to go and be the best, but they really need work on the mindset to really take them to that next level. So.
Yeah, fantastic. It is. And it's the thing is you're taking them to the next level, and you're doing it as a team and a family, and you're giving them something to hold on to. And that's just phenomenal. That was wonderful. Thank you, Sandy. Jake.
One of the things I believe most, and I know is true, that you are a product of the people you spend the most time around. So simply by look at what this panel does as a cumulative group. And I think Mike Spillman put it in the messages earlier about there's probably a lot more that this panel does that we don't talk about. And that's totally true. And that's true of everyone. So one of the things that's going to make this a leadership tactic is making it public. So everybody's talking about what they're doing. It means they're going to continue doing it, which is just high accountability, the highest level. That's using accountability as love. So some of the things that I personally do, like Craig, I spend a lot of time with Boys and Girls Club. They've got some amazing local programs that just really wrapped us up in it, and we're really grateful to be able to have that opportunity to spend time with them. We've got a local church camp that we spend some time and money on. I spend a lot of time spending time and money with Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, which is a wildlife and land conservation organization that I'm just a believer in. And I think about this, and everybody's talking about how they're giving back to kids, and think about from a mentorship space of where you are and that wealth and that gift of knowledge that you have, what you're doing to impact them. Think about if we were all, when you were a little kid, if you had access to this as that age of a kid, what an epic impact that would have on your life. So as you think about that, while you're in the audience, is understand we're not doing this for every one of us has a hard time kind of talking about this because it's not one of those we want to be boastful about this. And yet this is such an integral part of our lives. And that's what truly, I think Dorian said it earlier, is true wealth is giving to others. And she said that in the comments, and I thought it was great. Moe told me on Thursday, we had a conversation, and I asked this question, we're having this, what can we do as podcasters to really help the LA Tribune? And he said, honest and great content. Just, there's plenty of junk out there. You know what it is. Just create great content, create greatness in the world. And I thought that was a great thing for him to say. Relative to this panel, I know everybody here is doing just amazing content. And I would encourage you in the audience, watch what you watch what you produce.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you, Jake. And swing it back to Jessa for a second.
Well, that couldn't have been a more perfect segue, Jake. So thank you for that. I was actually, after my workout yesterday morning, I was receiving some divine guidance and some downloads, and I just immediately sat down at my computer to work on some content. And one of the things that I do each month in my groups and in my community is I create a theme for the month. And the theme that I created for April is show up and serve. Show up and serve. And so I'm actually going to be doing a post about it tomorrow, show up and serve. And I think it's important to point out how small being in service can be. So I'm kind of challenging everyone to be in service, to serve one person every single day, but to also stretch yourself and your capacity to receive service from someone else. Because so many people are very generous in the way that they give, and they struggle in the way that they're able to receive. So serve one person every day, but allow one person to serve, and allow yourself to receive every day as well. And understand that service can be something as small as helping an old lady across the street, holding the door open for someone, allowing someone to hold the door open for you, smiling at a stranger on the street. Like, these things don't have to be big. These small things, the smallest thing can make such a huge, tremendous difference in someone else's day and in someone else's life.
Yep. You know, that's the great thing. It is truly how we make a difference every single day. And that piece, in always ecological, no harm to ourselves or others, and go out and do it. Get it done. Hey, Mo, welcome back.
Thank you for that, Michael. And Jessa, thank you for sharing those inspirational words. We're going to wrap up the program here in the next 10, 15 minutes and have everyone share their final words. That was impressive. I didn't know how you did that, Jesse. Those special effects were pretty impressive. But, one of the things that I look at that, and people say this is a low budget show. One of the things that I wanted to piggyback off of what you shared, Jessa, we at the Los Angeles Tribune are proud to be one of the official certified organizations working with AmeriCorps as well as the Office of the President of the United States to be able to nominate and offer individuals that have done volunteer service work for over several thousand hours. There are different tiers. There's a whole, a program associated with it that's existed since 2003. And one of the things that I always share with individuals, specifically in the context of volunteerism and the work that we do with the White House, is no act of service is ever too small. And I think one of the big roadblocks that people have is that they don't realize that right in their local communities, if you're volunteering at the library, if you're making sure that the traffic is under control at your local elementary school when kids are crossing the street, these are the kinds of things that matter. And so a lot of times we have these grandiose, major, big ideas of what it takes to make a difference in the world, and we fail to recognize opportunities right under our nose. And so the message that I want to share is no act of service is ever too small. And hopefully someone out there will resonate with that and do something, something quote unquote small. But then once you start doing it, you realize it's actually not small. And so that's something, Jessa, that I'm glad you brought up. And one thing that I just want to share before we go into final words of wisdom from our audience, and I kick it back to Michael to close us out, is how do you stay focused as a leader? Well, there's a word. This word hurts people's feelings. This word, sometimes when you say this word to somebody, they sometimes react like you've punched them in the gut. There's a word that people usually don't like to say because it ruffles some feathers. And yet, as a leader, it's the most important word you need to be able to say. And that's the word no. And so a lot of individuals are afraid to say the word no. If there's an opportunity, if someone invites you to do business, if someone invites you to speak here, to do this, to do that, if someone invites you to have even a conversation on the phone, don't be afraid to say no. Stay focused on your goal, follow your intuition, follow your gut, develop your intuition, right? And it's okay to say no. It doesn't mean you don't like the person. It doesn't mean you're being disrespectful. It doesn't mean that they're less than you are. Okay, get those things out of your head. It's totally okay to say no, because going back to the conversation we had earlier about that bee, right? If that bee starts going left, starts going right, starts getting distracted by the grasshopper, starts getting distracted by this person that wants to hang out, by the butterfly, then we're all going to die. Civilization will collapse. Einstein said when the bees no longer exist, that's when human beings will no longer exist. And so it's serious, folks. Living your purpose, doing what God put you here to do is very serious. And I've never seen somebody accomplish anything big on this planet in a positive way without having the ability to say no. And I'm here to say it's okay to say no. Okay? And you can say no with love. You can say no with grace. You can say no with a kiss. However you want to say no, but it's okay to say no. Michael Silvers, back to you. We're going to go ahead and have everyone give their closing statements. Michael, back to you.
Yep, this is called a 30-second wrap round, everybody. You ready for this? Here we go. You're going to have 30 seconds. Here's the famous question. Here's the question that means a lot to all these people on here. Give them one thing. Right now, give them one thing they can do this week as a leader, as a business leader, as an entrepreneur, as being of service. But you got 30 seconds, and I'm extending this a minute to give you because you're all thinking, okay, what am I going to say? But truly give them that in 30 seconds. What is that one thing they can do this week? They can take away, they can walk away from this call, they can take it, they can use it and put it into action. And this is called lightning round time because we make this happen. And for those of you, by the way, out there listening to this, if you're of service and you do things of service, put a 1 in the chat. Just put a 1 in the chat so we know you're rock and rolling. There's been a lot of comments already and you guys have been awesome. All right, ready for the lightning round? Here we go. Give them that one thing that they go, oh, God, this call has been, because this is what they're going to remember. The rest of it, they're going to remember, but this is the part they're going to remember. Everybody ready? Shake your heads if you're ready with that one thing. Fantastic. Jessa, you're up.
Celebrate your wins, no matter how big or how small. Celebrate your wins. I mean, entrepreneurs, leaders, you get so caught up in the doing. Who are you being while you're doing the things? And really, really celebrate yourself for the things that you are doing, that you are accomplishing, for the service that you're being, no matter how big or how small. So celebrate those wins. Celebrate yourself.
Love it. Celebrate those wins. That's fantastic. What great advice. I love it. Dr. Catrice.
Take time for you. I know it can be very stressful being an entrepreneur and a leader, but take time to do something that makes you smile, be it a comedy club, your favorite movie, go roller skating, do something of the past that used to make you smile that'll make you smile again today.
I love it. Keep it going. This is great because these are simple. Everybody, you should be writing these down because these are, it's within the simplicity is the brilliance. It's non-complicating and getting it done. Sandy.
All right. Well, hopefully this will make sense to everybody, but there's 2 states of being. You're either in consciousness or you're in your ego. Okay. What is ego? Ego is fear. What is consciousness? Conscious is love. So pay attention to how you're showing up in the world. And if it doesn't feel right, it's probably your ego. Put your ego in the back seat. You're in the driver's seat. Tell it to shut up and just focus on the road ahead and do everything with love and with consciousness, because happiness is a choice and the choice is yours. Yeah.
Awesome. That's I got nothing else to say. That's all it is. That's that. Craig.
Hey, I'm going to build on what Mo said about saying no, and I'm going to augment his statement to no is a complete sentence. Now, my number one secret to living the life that you've worked so hard to build, and we're not good at it, is to set boundaries or terms of engagement, that I like to call them. So that is my one thing you can do, is to begin to set boundaries or terms of engagement based upon your key values. That will then keep you aligned. It'll keep you focused.
Awesome. Fantastic. You guys are great because it's really getting it. These are the things that impact people for imparting knowledge in a quick way. And do this for the people around you. Short, sweet, get it going, move it forward. Make sure they know you care. If they know you care, they'll listen. Karen.
So I'm going to piggyback on what Sandy said, because I believe that love is the most important thing. And so many times we want to be loving, but we're not aware. And so if we can start our day by asking for divine help, to have our eyes opened, to have our ears unstopped, and to be aware, and then to pay attention to those things, because then we will be guided to know how we can show love to others. And as we strive to have empathy for other people, then we can feel when they're in pain. We can feel when they're suffering. And then we can recognize there's an opportunity where we can serve.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Jake.
Ask for help. Like Sandy said, man, get it your consciousness. You got a whole, like, look at this panel. Mentors, role models, people that have been there before, they've done it. They're here to, they're going to reach down, pull you up from where you are. Like, that's what the love Karen talks about is. We aren't doing it for that purpose. There are people around you. Ask for help. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. When you do ask, somebody's here to pick you up.
Yeah, it really is true. So amazing. So great. And, you know, Rich, I look at the word impact right on that board. You know, you got it right there. And I figured we got to send this out with Rich, because impact. Go, Rich. You're on mute, Rich. And here he comes now.
Hey, you choose to speak and act from your heart. Okay, we're only here for two reasons: share love and praise God, and everything else is man-made. So if you don't get that right, you got to go back to number one, which is share love. And you can share it with kindness. You can share it with caring. Choose to speak and act from your heart. Here's the higher level to put on your checklist. Close your eyes. No matter where you are in your journey, close your eyes and ask your heart, what impacts do I clearly see making when I thrive at what I love doing? And ask your heart. And when you picture those impacts, I guarantee you that picture can keep you focused and take your brand to a point where you become the brand you must become to make those impacts. People don't know that, but you start with choosing to speak and act from your heart, so it's authentic.
Bam. Amazing. Give the panels a thunderous round of applause, everybody. Just amazing. Welcome back, Mo.
Thank you so much. Just want to confirm that everybody shared their final words. I see some body language from Jessica Carter, the peaceful billionaire who has something to share with us. Jessica Carter, please, floor is yours.
I just wanted to close up my celebrating with the why behind it is that what gets celebrated gets replicated. So no matter how big or how small, what gets celebrated gets replicated. You want more wins, so celebrate those.
I love that, Jessa. Thank you for the clarification. Mr. Silvers, you got something else you'd like to share?
No, I just wanted to really at this point, you know, what a great audience. Thank you all for participating, being part of it, all your comments. We're on weekly, of course, Mo will tell you this. And what a great panel, because panelists, you played full out, you dove in, you didn't know the questions ahead of time, and you just made it happen tonight for everybody, which is why so many of you are also so tremendous podcasters.
And what's amazing, Michael, is, you know, we want the audience to decipher the information and apply it in different ways for their own lives. You heard Craig and I say no. And then you heard Jake say, well, ask for help. Well, if somebody asks you for help, who are you going to listen to? Are you going to listen to Craig and I? Are you going to say no to someone? So again, you know, assume formlessness on your path of leadership. Right? Laws and rules, you know, have flexibility. Sometimes you got to say no. Sometimes you got to say yes. Sometimes you got to ask for help. Sometimes you got to give help. Sometimes you got to know it's not the right time to ask for help. The final message I want to share for folks as they stay focused as a leader is to assume formlessness out there on your journey, on your path as a leader in business, in life. And with that, I just want to again remind folks to join us May 1st to May 7th. As we roll out this brand new concept that we believe will take a life of its own for many years to come, and that's the Leadership Week. Let's take a week. Let's celebrate leadership the same way people celebrate fashion. Let's celebrate the quality of a person's character the same way we celebrate the quality of their garment and their dresses and their blazers. And so, again, today we're excited to announce Brian Tracy, a mentor to millions of people for many years, a couple of decades, maybe even a couple of decades longer than Michael Silvers has been a mentor. And we're excited to announce many other living legends, icons, leaders of industry that will be a part of the Leadership Week, including CEOs of major companies that we have not yet announced. And with that, I want to thank Michael Silvers for his friendship, partnership, and for being such a great host this week, and this amazing panel of all-stars. If you'd like to get in touch with any of the folks you see on the screen, simply go to the Facebook page and leave a comment, and one of the team members will connect you to the folks here. With that being said, we will see you back here, same time, same place next week, where we're going to assemble another all-star lineup of leaders to help the folks in this community lead their lives, lead their businesses. See you next week.